right, good evening, Coin Observatory. Good evening, crypto fam. Hope you guys are doing good. It has been a little bit of a sell-off since last stream, and I highlighted that we were supposed to expect something like this just like 8 days ago, last Saturday on my live stream. I was saying markets are at a pivot point with the ongoing gold breakout, with the make sure we're live. Okay, we're live. With the ongoing turn in the stock market, we did see a little bit of a rally, and I was expecting BTC to be at a pivot. And I highlighted some of the things we're seeing in terms of hedging, and I said, hey, it's probably the right time to hedge. And since then, we've come down. We've come down to levels that I don't want to see. Right. So we came up with this BTFD indicator, the bands. And throughout this whole BTC bullish break, we'd been above these bands, and any bounce off these bands was a really good buy opportunity, right? You can see the green line where it says BTFD on my chart, and that was since February, right? And we came up, we tested these levels several times. Every time we bounced off these levels, it was a great buy opportunity. And now we're actually trading below. We've never traded below, or we haven't since this bullish break, which has me a little bit on edge, right? In terms of confidence in the market. So I went to fiat when I said it's time to hedge. Not all the way, but quite a way. And now, this is looking like it could be a buy opportunity, especially since our gravity indicator, which is based off the CME gap, is overhead, right? This is also the one time since the bull break where the gap is overhead, right? We kind of left this gap in the dust several times. And I believe this is our only overhead gap since that first bullish break in February, right? We had the big up candle. Yeah, that was February. And since then, most of the gaps have been underneath, right? Correlation, does that have any relation? If this is our first overhead gap, are we bearish now? We could be, right? In order for BTC to regain my confidence, I need it back above these levels. And it looks like it's gonna head back up there one last time. And if we close above here and we stay above here, just to be clear, I'm gonna drop a little price mark on this level. I'm right at that 8K mark, right? We gotta stay above 8K to remain bullish. That's my perspective. Anything below that, and we're likely to experience some price discovery. What's going on, Billy? What's going on, Enoch? Also, the title of this stream, it's different, right? So we've identified a key opportunity. If you guys have been following what we've been publishing, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go over the gold chart. We did trade gold. We did trade gold on 3x long ETF. Some of us had some calls and puts, and I've got some good screenshots of a 5x return, a 500% return on some gold calls that were long the way below. So gold made like a good 5% move. I picked up gold calls on UGL, which is up gold to 2x ETF for 26 cents, and was selling them at between $1.30 and $1.77. So I'm seeing opportunities elsewhere. There's still trading opportunities. How are we doing, guys? Is the stream still going? I feel like something froze on my end. Okay, awesome, sweet. So back to what about volume for BTC? What about volume for BTC? Okay, awesome. So I had a feeling that my cam froze. So we're gonna proceed without a cam. So volume has been dying off, right? There's no volume, and I've got theories behind that. Um, it, and I was talking to Coach Cav and today on just like a phone call, and we're kind of talking about why I think volume is dying and why I think this rally happened. And this has to do with the conflict that I'm gonna highlight next, like the next opportunity. This sucks. Let me try to get my camera going. Let me see what went wrong. Give me just a moment, guys. All right. Well, we're gonna proceed with no cam. So, I talked about what was possibly fueling this rally was sanctions on Iran, right? We had all this volume come in, and they still had to sell their oil. And one way to avoid sanctions is through BTC and crypto. And there was some more developments into that where there was waivers, right, for like 6 countries that the U.S. gave waivers to for several months, and those just expired, right? So if that conflict was fueling this rally, now we're gonna see things slow down for several reasons. And going into that, let me make sure I can hear you, but you're not moving. That's my idea. That's my reasoning behind why volume has dried up, especially recently. Also, when we were heading up here, BTC was moving on very, I want to say, low volume. There was not much selling at all. So I think taking a break here, pulling back a little lower. I mean, we could see 61.8 retracement, likely at 50. Um, Long term wise, it's 23, so we can expect a 38.2. We can expect 6,800 as like the next leg down. Um, and we definitely have to close above 8K to keep going up on this break that since February. If not, then this initial impulse move is taking a break. There's several like head and shoulders that I've seen floating around all over. Here would be one, right? So you got a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. I'm not gonna validate those. I'm not gonna say they're valid or they're not. I just saw the SPY and the QQQ completely defy head and shoulders. So markets have been doing funky things, right? But we had reason to hedge. I announced this would be a great time to hedge 8 days ago. And we could see an 18% pullback from here based on the stop. It doesn't have to be terminal, but an 18% move down would put us at a 50% retracement, which is really healthy, right? This is still bullish at a 16,100. There is an unfilled gap underneath at 71, right? So we could come down and fill that gap. But as of now, I think momentum has slowed down, right? BTC's definitely slowed down. And caution is warranted, right? Break above 8K and I'm bullish again. And no break above 8K and I will be bearish. All right, moving on. I'm gonna cover Ether USD and Litecoin USD. So, the current formation on ETH, right? I think it did the biggest move up off this bounce this last couple of hours, and it's gaining on BTC and Litecoin. We could enter a period of an Ether rally, which is something I'd been expecting once BTC does its pullback, right? Is this a wedge? If it is a wedge, we can see a bullish break, right? So we might as well wait for confirmation and not bet on it being a wedge. But a break like the 243, 244 levels could create an impulse move up, right? And all right, so we want to get up in the 240, 242 range to get moving again. Is that head and shoulders existing on ETH as well? We could say it's there, right? We could say it's there. But I'm going to show you guys a massive head and shoulders that did not play out in legacy markets, at least not yet. So we do know that markets are correlated, and I kind of proved that with this pullback and with my stream last week. So we could be seeing what we saw, just a lot faster in the stock market. ETH BTC in terms of performance, I'm going to see what's going on with that. And let's get rid of all indicators. Just based on price action, I got excited about this break in the second move off this bull flag. It looks like we're still in like an extended flat, right? This really got me excited for a good reason. But then we saw this formation fail, and now we're back in this range, right? We're back in this range. We did see this nice impulse move the last couple of hours. So we might enter a little bit of an Ether bullish phase. It's something that happens. I published on this a while ago after BTC big moves up. I think keeping an eye on that 241, 242 range is going to be critical for ETH. Downside, right? Downside, it can mean trouble. The target on this head and shoulders is 24%. So we could be seeing a 24% move down. Luckily, Litecoin's been leading this rally. Litecoin was the first token to break bullish. And it's been the leader. Every time Litecoin rallies, we see the rest of the market follow suit. And I'm not seeing head and shoulders on Litecoin, not by a stretch. We could be seeing a descending broadening wedge here, right? If you guys have traded these with me, you know they're a powerful formation, right? So, which is kind of like a bull flag when it's up top. It's just an inverse flag, and it's doing this retest right now. So 112, 114 looks really good for Litecoin. 114 looks good on you, Litecoin. And move from here. Where would I expect this thing to fail? So if we get a good strong rejection here at the 1.272 fib, this has been the rejection fib. Pretty bad in every move on every time frame. So if you get a rejection at 124, I expect this move to fail. But if not, I can see some more upside targets like 135, 165, and so forth. I don't know if I'm seeing it. I'm not seeing like a rising wedge. Just said like RSI. Check for a divergence. Are you seeing some divergent highs, right? I mean, we might be able to break through and make a new high. Hopefully RSI clears this mess. In terms of chart formations, right, this flag looks good in my opinion, but the RSI needs to confirm that. On the 4 hour, it's not looking as juicy, guys. It's not. Let's go back to a daily chart. I like that better in this scenario. Going over questions. Biohazardia. Is there a chance, though, that BTC will diverge from LTC? LTC is likely to be bullish due to halving. We could, right? But one thing we've seen time and time again in this cycle is Litecoin has been moving the entire market with it. If Litecoin starts rallying and BTC is divergent from it, then at some point you want to convert some of that LTC to BTC for the BTC rally. I'll go over altcoins soon, Fred. So give me a few. Just gonna cover things I want to cover. In terms of RSI, what's happening here? So not quite at resistance. So you've got room. We got room to make that 124 high, right? And just breaking that 124.87 mark is going to be the critical point. That's what this has to break. Is there much resistance at 124? There's quite a bit, right? You got a couple of previous pivots here. I'm going to do a line flat across. All right, so we've seen a previous pivot here. We've seen a previous pivot here. So there's a little bit of resistance in the zone, right? And we're right below it. But I would look for 124 on LTC. All right, moving on. So I had said that, title of the stream, that there's a boom coming, and I'm not going to cover all these plays. I'm just going to show some charts that are of interest right now. And this has to do with the Iran conflict, right? It's escalating. It's escalating fast. Some of the bigger defense stocks are moving, right? And I don't know if I want to highlight these tickers. You guys are in VIP. You're gonna get all the laydown of these tickers and the expected moves. So we're seeing a falling wedge on one of them with a nice upside target, and these are not gonna be traded just on spot, right? We're gonna do some options calls on these. So I expect some bigger returns on these moves. This one's pending upwards volatility. It's kind of like longing my gold wedge a month ago, or some 20 days ago. So going back to gold futures, right? We got in on this wedge right here on gold. There's actually two wedges within each other. The angle of this other wedge that we're just looking at, and I'll go back over that here shortly, right? So we started layering longs here, longed again here, and that was a 500% move on trading options, right? So going back to this wedge, I'm not expecting, we gotta wait for this one to break. Then more interestingly, this company right here, we're seeing a little bit of a bull flag. We just saw a shakeout happen. We've seen it trade above this long-term resistance. So they posted some 30 jobs in Saudi Arabia just in the last week, and that seems to be where the conflict is stemming. And Trump just signed a Saudi weapons deal. China just sold the Saudis some weapons. So I'm going to be making some big bets on this conflict, right? Another token we're looking at, this massive extended bull flag is starting to break out. These are all daily charts, guys. I mean, look at all this buy volume, all this buying happening. So this thing, we can pretty much bet that this thing's already breaking out. And even a move to the 1.2 is a big move, right? So I mean, our initial target is like 7% up, which could be up to like 700% with the right call on the right time. And Zen Bombs and I are going to be highlighting those plays either tonight or tomorrow morning in the traditional markets chat. And then there's also one last chart. We had actually 6 to start with. I narrowed it down to 4. This one's already in a bull flag breakout, another bull flag. and it looks like, I ran a lot of comparison with these in the S&P and the Dow Jones and stuff, and they don't have a very tight correlation to it in terms of swing highs and swing lows. We're gonna be playing it safe. We're gonna try to time a lot of these entries where we just capture the volatility and get out. I know my face is frozen, man. My cam froze. I'm not sure why. I tried to troubleshoot it. I don't want to waste too much time on that. And so speaking of like the S&P, we were short, we turned long, and it turned short too soon. I did turn short too soon. I checked the futures on the S&P. They're trading. They trade weekends. They trade Sunday. Looks like we had a gap up. It got sold off. This is just now. This is a 240. Let's go to the hourly chart. So I do think this is a dead cat bounce. I think we're gonna do something like this, right? We're gonna call it the yo-yo range. We're probably gonna do something like this. You did just see China and Russia enter a trade agreement. So I'm expecting a big range trade. Pretty big range trade. So I want to see a yo-yo range. And more interestingly, I pulled some bar patterns, some of the fractals from 2007. And this looks very similar. So we're going to be looking to reshort soon, right? I still have some shorts. I have both calls and puts. So I'm hedged both ways, but this really reminds me of the 2006 stop. Right? Whoa, let's not do that. This really reminds me of the 2006 stop. In a sense of it was a triple top. We saw a very similar price action. We had a high. I'm just going to put this down here. We had a high, had a higher high, and a third higher high. And then we came down and kind of posted this. Imagine like Bitcoin going to 20K and then that one bullish week of price action after the initial pullback to 17K, right? Which you all know that was the bull trap. Everybody thought it was going to keep going up, but it didn't. So this chart analog is pretty similar, right? I mean, it's almost a spitting image, just bigger candles in different time frame. Initial pullback, second high, pullback, very steep. And then now I think we're going to enter this era. And I think we're like right here in terms of that correction. We have to wait for it to play out though. We do. Kevin, stock market's been good to us though. I doubled my Robinhood account and then some with the gold play, shorting indices, long in indices. And now I'm short and long, more short, very much net short. So I expect some big money to be made on this volatility, right? Because when things just go one way or when they're slowly climbing, you can't make a whole lot of money. It's like watching Bitcoin go up $100 every day versus swinging the ranges or, playing the swings, long and shorting. What's going on, Martin Gittins? Oi, mate. From Australia, good friend of mine. All right, guys, I'm taking altcoins now. Covered what I wanted to cover. Yeah, shoot me some altcoins, show me some altcoins. I'll go over the charts for you. All right, going over at BRD. My face is frozen. I know. All right, so this looks good. This looks good. What's volume doing? This looks great, except for volume is at 100, not even, it's 88 Bitcoin daily trading volume. But in terms of formation, seeing a little bit of a bull flag here, right? Starting to break out. This is the hourly. We do have a momentum strategy that we're running. Let me see if it's above or below. We're in the momentum zone. And this looks really good, actually. This is right in that momentum zone where I'd want to long it, right? In terms of market cycle, this has an upwards move to finish. It's good. Where would my targets be on this trade? These are my targets, right? Not financial advice, but I'd look for like 58, 60, 84, 63, and if it gets really good, 64, 89. So just fib extensions. It's going to be your initial resistance, though. A settle above here is going to really put it in that bullish territory. A lot of people showing alt season coming. What's my opinion of alt season? Alts like to move when BTC is pulling back, right? I think of altcoins as market makers' tool to making more BTC out of thin air. Pump the coin, sell for Bitcoin, move on to the next one. So are we going to see an alt rally? One thing that's going to be super indicative is BTC.D, Bitcoin dominance chart. Am I a proponent of alt season right now? I would say, based on historicals, I am. Am I going to be very alt heavy? I was talking to my team today and I said, hey guys, once this CME gap fills overhead, I'm likely to cash out quite a bit and shift some more funds to trade the stock market correction and play both markets, right? I'm not going to be a crypto maximalist. It could be a waste of time at times. We're just focusing on one market, especially when we doubled our stock market portfolios just last week. So is it alt season? Yes. Is our alt the only opportunity? I don't think so. I mean, we're trading some options, some calls and puts. I'm not saying get out of crypto and get into the stock market. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm looking around for the most volatile opportunities. As of now, right, so we do know that Bitcoin dominance, it's kind of in this, we're not going to call it a range, we're in this wedge, sort of. So it could come down a bit. We could see all its gain. It's definitely slowed down since it's a really big jump. I'm going to get rid of this green line. But it is a support, right? A resistance. We can expect that to turn to support. If it fails, then it's going to be all season, right? We want to see. You want to confirm all season. You want to see it drop back down to here. We're likely going to have a few stops before getting down to percent dominance at like 52, right? Right now we're at 58. We can definitely see 57. 57 fails over here. Then we're in this bigger range of all season. If it doesn't fail, if this turns into a wedge and Bitcoin dominance starts breaking up, then it's not all season. Billy, I got plenty of time. So let's dive into XRP for you. We do have a long signal on Ripple at the moment internally, so alright, so XRP had gotten in that momentum zone. It is currently breaking down. What does that mean? Does that mean it's over for Ripple? Well, let's go to the daily chart, right? Ripple is one of those coins that you definitely want to chart on the daily. Ripple does like to do violent shakeouts before big moves up, historically speaking. It's done so every single time, right? It's done shakeouts for no reason. So you can expect a little bit of capitulation candle. Excuse me. It's allergy season here in Puerto Rico. You got the Saharan dust coming through, so I might be under the weather for next week or so. Next 2 weeks, I'll try to load up on allergy meds and defeat this. Thanks, Billy. Give me just a moment. Okay. So we're likely to see some of this kind of price action. We might be seeing it right now. I mean, daily RSI is at 46, Ripple BTC. The 4 hour needs to pull up, man. The 4 hour needs to get above that momentum zone. The hourly sort of broke through it. So I mean, if I was an if I was like buying the dip on Ripple, this would be a time to consider. I'm not saying this is a buy. I'm saying this is a time to consider. This looks like it was some type of harmonic, possibly. Alright, so now we're seeing a pullback. This looks like a harmonic bat. 8, 1.6, 0.77, 1.4. It's definitely a bearish bat, right? So, targets on this bat. I was talking about the 1.272 extension failing, right? And if you go to swing low to swing high on this, we did see a turn here. We could see another visit. You know, this would be an area of interest. And definitely getting back above into that 51.19 range, 51.23 range is an area of interest too. This is why we're seeing this sell-off. There's a bearish bat up here. And a 1.2 move. This is a rejection, right? So another test here would prompt for a long. So I'm going to do for myself, so I'm going to put some price markers, right? Or some alerts. That way I get an alert if this happens to Ripple. All right, going over ZRX. You guys asked me about bread earlier, BRD, and it was above this like red line, right? In terms of market cycle, and I said it's got to keep moving up. It's the momentum zone, and one way to kind of figure out when a good time to get out of these alts. I think it's too soon on ZRX. This looks like it's doing an Adam and Eve formation. And those are going to be a steep triangle followed by like a curved bottom. So it's essentially a double bottom. And if this was my triangle, it's way too dark. If this was my triangle, this looks like it's in reversal territory, right? It does. We'll go over like daily RSI and stuff. Let me start with formations. This definitely looks like an Adam and Eve, okay? Now we're seeing what looks like a wedge. Volume's pretty low. It's at 196 BTC daily volume. Most of the breakouts are happening on like 290, 300, 400. But I would keep an eye on ZRX. I would. Especially as oversold as it is in terms of price. RSI looks fairly well. I mean, it's holding above 48. But this looks like an Adam and Eve. Is this Adam and Eve like powerful enough to get us back all the way up here? I don't know. No, it's a pretty big move up. All right. It's 400% back up. It's crazy. You got a QKC request and BNB. QKC, BTC. Oh, whoa, this thing is really oversold. To me, this looks like let me go to the hourly actually and see where we are in terms of momentum. We're below my momentum zone. The first break was no break. First break usually fails. The second break could be more sustainable. What's going on here? The hourly doesn't look too promising, right? But it's at a 61.8 retrace. My area of interest is here. It's right above. That's where we're seeing momentum come into these tokens. So I want to see a pullback up to like the 300 range. 300 range would make me more bullish. We do know that the market sold off just now in unison, right? BTC dipped, altcoins dipped, everything sort of sold off. Just might just be a little bit of a shakeout. Volume is good. Volume is good at 522. I want to see it close above 300, and we could start seeing more upwards targets. You gotta close above 300 first, right? And then I would look for previous high 337. 1.16, which is the 368, and just further fib extension targets, right? 418, 464. So got a BNB request. I'm gonna go over BNB BTC. I had seen a 10% move up. I think it's like halfway through it. Well, no, we kind of backed out in that zone. We did see this wedge on BNB. Now we're seeing another wedge on BNB. They're just narrowing and narrowing. So I would say the target one off this last wedge is incomplete, right? So, yeah, 4% move. Yeah, it's definitely incomplete on this move. So we still have 4.05. So I think this is like a stage 2 reversal where it tries to reverse time and time again. I do think the original move I was referring to was somewhere over here. This is interesting. I have to read this a little later. The drama queen McAfee. I lost this wedge. Alright, so wedge aside, what's going on with BNB? Let me go to the daily. This one's tricky, guys. We could be seeing a broadening top, but we know that BNB is a hedge in BTC downturns, right? So I don't think it's an ABCD. Last time I tried tracking one of these. Alright, forget about it. Here's what you can do. Last Fib, are we still bullish? What kind of retracement do we have? 3.2, right? This kind of looks like a smaller bull flag in this range. I'd say trend is still up, right? Binance isn't going to want to devalue their own coin, not until they enable margin trading, right? So I can see BNB still going up until Binance enables margin trading. All right, fam. Hit me with a couple more altcoins. I got time for a few more. Do you have altcoins? Shilling alts. Any more alt requests? All right, looking at Zill on the daily chart. I like this for two reasons. We got a little bit of a double bottom, somewhat of a company handle, a bull flag breakout, and we're currently yeah. You're welcome, Five Dragon. So we're currently above this resistance zone, right? We're seeing resistance turn to support, which is a good thing. I'd expect continuation here. It's above the moving averages on the daily. This daily MA setup is a fairly aggressive one, right? I mean, we've seen failures at it. We've also seen it play out more often than not. Going to the hourly, it's still in the momentum zone. Is it on the 2-hour momentum zone? You know, we want to see this get back up here. Judging tokens right now, after we had an 8-hour sell-off in the market, it's gonna be tough, right? Everything is down. But if we discount that price action, we should still be in that momentum zone. Looking at 50% retracement, this is good. This is healthy, right? Where is it 50%? It's at that red line, which was the previous resistance, now turning into support. We want to see the chart turn around here, and we can expect more upwards volatility. So previous targets are intact. Carlo, I start with BTC. When this video is over, you can go back and see our BTC analysis. Going over USNA, which is a stock. Usana Health Sciences Incorporated. I see the divergence, right? We see the bullish div. What else is this doing? I mean, I see a bullish dip. I just don't know what's moving this, right? I don't know what's moving this. Either like to upside or to the downside. I'm not sure. I'm not. It's kind of coming back to this previous trading range, Cam. So I wouldn't call this a wedge. It's definitely, somebody shook out longs and they shook out shorts and they're resetting this chart. I don't know. The only stocks I'm playing right now are defense industry, because there's a conflict on the horizon that's being funded by a lot of parties, right? It's almost like a sure play. I mean, we weren't trading around for the Iraq War, right? War in Iraq. And I mean, this is what happens when you get in some of these trades. I actually covered this a couple weeks ago. I covered this right when it gapped up, right? But realistically, when you're betting on conflict, this is the mother of all bubbles, guys, the military-industrial complex, right? So I get in before a breakout. I mean, this is Lockheed Martin. It's like, 300%. That's February 2013, right? It has nothing to do with, like, the previous war, but it's obviously signaling that some conflict is on the horizon. Things don't just gap up to resistance and do a descending, broadening wedge and start mooning. But I mean, this is trading at $353, and back in like 2000, 2001, this was at $26. This thing's made 1,400%, right? I mean, that's crazy. And that's why I'm focusing on the conflict in terms of traditional markets. You're welcome, Dave. As opposed to anything else. Especially, I think, if the S&P and the QQQ are having this is a dead cat bounce and we're going to sell off again, I'd expect more devaluation out of all markets. The S&P futures are trading right now. They gapped up this evening, and now they're kind of just not doing anything. This week's going to be pretty important in the stock market, especially after the China-Russia summit, Saudi deals, and yeah. Guys, I'll take one more token request. You guys want to show me one last altcoin, I will cover it. If not, I will conclude the stream. And then, if you guys in VIP, I will be listing my top 4 picks for the Iran conflict tonight. We're going to post some targets on them tomorrow at market open. And yeah, expect... shared some screenshots of what happened in my Robinhood calls and puts, my call options. So expect some pretty good moves out of these, some good returns. Well, fam, thank you all for tuning into the stream. If you're not on our Discord, there's a link in the video description. Also, there's a link to the gold article that I published when gold was first starting to break out. In the video description. Make sure to catch up on that. I do think I don't think this is over for gold. I don't think this run is over. I think we could retest this range and break out if this wedge is a bull flag. I still have some calls that I reopened with profits from my last entry. I think it's too soon for rejection here, all right? I think we're going to test this 1.272, so 1384, to really call this rally failed. Ripple just turned there. Ether just turned there. I mean, it's 1.272 season, right? There's no reason to turn here. So I think we can expect one more leg up for the 1.272 retest. Anybody with like more open positions or that has more calls in place, I'd look out for that key area. Link to this article is in the video description. There's a few other links to things we published over the last couple of months that have come into fruition. Other than that, I'll catch you guys on Discord. Thanks for tuning into the stream, and sorry about my camera feed going down. Good luck trading. Diversify, guys. Chase opportunity. Don't focus on just one chart. Don't focus on one market. Volatility is what makes wealth, right? So, trade safe.